My name is Daniel and I am 30 years old. I have been living a normal life lately, working as a plumber for the same company for many years now. I'm married, and my wife's name is Emma. Never in my life did I think I would find myself in this situation with my mother-in-law, Margaret. We have always maintained a neutral relationship, no particular warmth or conflict, just mutual respect from a distance. When Margaret's apartment started having problems with burst pipes, my wife suggested that my mother stay with us for a while, and I didn't object. We had 3 rooms in our apartment, so there was plenty of room. For the first few weeks it was business as usual. Margaret mostly kept to herself, spending time in her room or watching TV in the living room, while Emma and I went about our daily business. However, something inside me began to stir. At first I couldn't figure out what it was. It was subtle, a fleeting glance. The faint smell of her perfume in the hallway, but gradually it grew stronger, pushing me into thoughts I didn't want to allow. That night, Emma left for a friend's bachelorette party, planning to return the day after tomorrow. She kissed me on the cheek, said goodbye, and left. I stayed home, planning to spend the evening playing on the computer and maybe watching a movie. I was in the kitchen making dinner when I heard something fall in the living room. Curious, I went to see what had happened. Margaret was in the living room, bending over to pick up a book she had accidentally knocked over. The soft light of the lamp emphasized her figure, and for a moment I felt a rush of something unfamiliar. I couldn't pinpoint the exact cause, but something about the moment struck me. I brushed it off and went back to the kitchen. Later, when I returned to get a drink of water, I found her standing at the sink. She was wearing a light robe, her hair was damp, and she was washing dishes. When she turned to look at me, there was something in her eyes that I had never seen before. It was a mixture of vulnerability and something else, something magnetic. I don't remember who made the first move. Maybe we just stared into each other's eyes for too long. The air between us seemed to charge, and before I knew it, we were kissing. Her lips were soft and her scent was a mixture of floral shampoo and something intoxicating. "We shouldn't," she whispered, her voice trembling. But she didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned closer and ran her fingers through my hair. It was as if all the boundaries and rules we'd lived by were gone. Before I knew it, we were in the bedroom. The details are hazy. Afterward, we lay side by side, trying to catch our breath until reality returned. Margaret turned to me, her eyes full of tender sadness. "It can't happen again," she said with a weak, unconvincing smile. I nodded, though every part of me rebelled against those words. But it happened again a week later, when Emma got home late from work. And then again. Each time we promised ourselves it would be the last time. But each time we found ourselves around each other, all good intentions vanished. There was an undeniable, almost primal connection between us that neither of us could resist. The hardest part was pretending to be okay around Emma. At family dinners, I'd catch Margaret's eyes on me and flinch. And yet she continued to discuss everyday things with her daughter as if nothing had happened. The moments of passion we shared left an indelible mark on both of us. I began to notice small details about her that I hadn't noticed before. Her laughter lingering in the room, the faint wrinkles around her eyes that deepened when she smiled, the gracefulness of her movements. When Margaret finally moved back into her apartment, I felt both relieved and devastated. We had agreed to put things behind us and not see each other outside of family gatherings. But the emptiness she left behind was undeniable. I began to think of her at the most inopportune moments, revisiting the nights we'd spent together, haunted by memories of her touch and the intensity of our connection. On those occasions when our eyes met, I saw echoes of our passion reflected in her gaze. It was a tacit acknowledgement of the moments we shared, moments neither of us could completely forget. I noticed how she sometimes avoided sitting too close to me, or how her hands trembled slightly as she handed me a dish. These subtle signs only fueled the fire burning inside me. One night, after a particularly awkward family dinner, I walked her to her car. The night was cool, and the streetlights cast a soft light on her face. "Daniel," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "you're a good man. I hope you know that." Her words sounded both like comfort and goodbye. I nodded, unable to find the right words, and watched her leave. Weeks have turned into months now, and the intensity of my feelings hasn't lessened. I try to focus on my marriage, on Emma, on the life we built together. But there's still a fire burning inside of me that refuses to die down. I've thought about reaching out to Margaret, but I know that would only complicate things further. What am I to do with this lingering desire, this impossible connection? It's a question I can't answer, and it's getting harder every day.